Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Welcome to Empowered Rangers Forex Level 1 Forex to Forex Basics Preview. And I'm doing this recording in November 2012. My name is Jack Wong. I'm the founder and the Chief Master Trainer of WHM Consulting Private Limited, a company based in Singapore, providing both the consulting and the training business services to my clients. Okay, so basically in this workshop preview, I would like to introduce to you what level 1 Forex to basic online coaching class is about. And before that, I would like to show you this disclaimer. Whatever I'm going to talk about in terms of trading and investing in the forex market does not constitute any investment advice. Okay, and I'm not going to give you any advice as such because I'm not a licensed investment advisor. So whatever you do based on the presentation, please understand that it is your own responsibility. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So what's actually Empowered Rangers Forex? So let's talk about Empowered Rangers. It is an initiative that I started in 2012 with a view to helping people to be successful in different aspects of their lives. I'm actually focusing on three particular aspects. Personal life, I've empowered Rangers goal setting and results coaching program. For the business life or working life you like, as a trainer, I have this coaching program called Infopreneurial Business Coaching Program. And for a person's financial life, I have the Wealth Creation Program. Okay? And in terms of the Wealth Creation Initiative, I have two subcategories. The first one is wealth building. Basically, I'm looking to help people to provide guidance as to how they can manage their money in terms of their financial affairs. So it's not really financial planning, but rather financial affairs planning. How they can make more money from doing something else other than being gainfully employed, and in what aspects are they able to save money to generate the income for further investment or trading activities. And the second subcategory is investing in the various financial markets, such as equities, derivatives like options, futures, exchange traded funds, ETFs, as well as forex or currency. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on the last one, which is forex and currency. Okay. In other presentations I'm going to do in a moment, I will talk about some other initiatives in terms of options and also stock trading. Okay. So let's look at what is it about in terms of the Empowered Rangers Forex initiative. It was previously known as Dynamic Currency Academy. Some of you who have been with me for 2 years, you may notice that 2 years ago I used the terminology Dynamic Currency Academy. And I found that a lot of people struggle with the forex market because there's so many courses, so many types of education available in the market. And as a result, I plan to set up something to help some novice traders who aspire to be successful in forex market to be successful. In Empower Rangers Forex, I've actually come up with 5 different levels. Okay, so level 1, it is a four weeks to forex basic online course, and level 2 is 8 weeks forex coaching online course. I do it online because I found that doing a live seminar can cost a lot of money, and rather than charging my customers the fee which pays off the rental of a training facility, I would rather defray the cost by doing online. It makes my life easier, and it also allows the participant to be able to watch the recording as and when they feel that it is necessary to do so. In 2013, next year, I will introduce level 3, which is the advanced price action trading methods for intraday forex traders. Something a lot of my customers have been asking for. Yes, I'm going to do this finally in 2013. Level 4, which is something on my agenda, it is called the Inner Circle Forex Trading Group. That is something that I'm still planning, and in time to come, I will let you guys know the detail. The final level, I called it not a level 5, but rather special classes, which is basically Forex options trading. And yes, some of you have heard it clearly. I'm going to introduce Forex options trading class, special regime in Empowered Rangers Forex in 2013. There's one more level which I didn't put it down here. That is the ultimate elite level, which is of course my one-to-one personal coaching. Okay, and basically that would be very expensive because it is a one-to-one coaching. I'm not sure how many people would like that because unless you are prepared to pay a premium, there's actually a price to pay for this kind of one-to-one coaching. Okay, so let's focus on level 1 Forex to Forex basic online class. So put it simply, level 1 is to allow any novice FX traders to be in the position to answer the following question. And the question is a very simple and yet powerful one: whether Forex trading is for me. On this slide, how many of you notice that there are certain common things among these people? We have got a female playing soccer, we have a baseball player, we have a track and field player, and also another track and field player. Okay, what are the common things among these people? The answer is they are playing sports. And how many of you agree that sports is actually a skill? It is a craft. And the more practice you make, the better you will be. From an amateur sport players, how would he or she be able to become a professional sport player? That requires hours of training and practices. Okay, so if you agree that this is the case, in order for a amateur sports person to be a professional sports person, here's my submission to you guys. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, trading is also a skill or a craft. And this means that you have to get yourself properly educated. As you may be aware, we have choices in our life. Here, what I mean is you can choose to get an expensive lesson from Mr. Market. Mr. Market will give you that kind of education at a very, very expensive price. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Thank you. And of course, the other choice you can make is to get a less costly education from professionals. Why do I not say that it is cheap? Because amongst our competitors, some of them have actually offer quite expensive courses. The most expensive one I ever heard, through my career in forex trading, was a course that I know that is a 2-day class, and the person actually charged 10,000 Singapore dollars for just a 2-day class. And of course, over to the North American zone, I actually came across with some marketers offering their forex classes at a price of US 5,000 or $6,000. So yes, it is less costly, yet it is still expensive. Of course, the question boils down to whether which one you're going to choose, and realize that you do have the power to choose anything that suits you. Okay? So now the question is this. There are so many ways to approach the forex market. And let me identify what I know in terms of the different ways to approach the forex market. Number one, I love this because a lot of Asians like this approach. That's called the happy-go-lucky approach, which is called gambling. I don't care, I just put money into the forex market and see how it goes. Whether I make or lose, it doesn't matter. If I make, I'm happy. If I lose, I'm equally happy. That's called the happy-go-lucky approach. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Thank you. The second one is the investing approach. The investing approach is a bit long-term, For example, imagine you are in Singapore, your base currency is Singapore dollars. And if you decide that because a bank offers a foreign currency deposit at a higher interest rate, as a high interest, you decide to sell your Sing dollars and buy the foreign currency with a view to earning a higher interest. Okay, so that is a foreign currency deposit. You also have seen might have heard the thing called dual currency deposit, which is a bit speculative, and essentially it is a derivative instrument designed by the banks to allow a person to be able to earn slightly higher interest rate within a short period of time. And if the person is wrong in the direction of the movement of that particular currency pair, he or she will get the foreign currency back after the contract expires. Okay, so this is another instrument or product available in the market. Finally, of course, with the banks, instead of putting the foreign currency deposit, you hold a foreign currency account, you can actually turn it into a fixed deposit using foreign currency as the base. Okay, that would yield a higher interest somehow. And obviously, that is a bit of the passive way of managing your money. That's what I call investing approach. Now, in terms of trading approach, which obviously boils down to a bit of the shorter term or near term time frame, if you like, the approach that I am aware of is either a fundamental approach, a technical approach, or a combination of both. Okay, so this is a trading approach. And last but not least, that is exclusively happening in the Forex market. It's called the robot or expert advisor EA. So in other words, your financial fate will be decided by a robot. So the robot will trade for you, whether you buy or sell. It is the robot decision. Who writes the robot program? It's actually the software engineer. And the fact is that there are algorithms written to basically capture a buy signal or sell signal based on what the software developer knows. Okay, and the robot will just trade accordingly. So these are the few ways or approaches for one to trade the forex market. Which approach would you like most? You know the answer, not me. Okay, but which is the best way? Again, it is up to you to decide, but this is what we believe. In Empowered Rangers Forex, we believe the following. Our money is ours, and this means that we have full control as to how we want to grow our money. Okay, remember, we have the power to choose. Okay, and investing ethics is definitely a viable option, but one must know the consequence in terms of the potential return, because the more passive you decide to adopt in investing ethics, the lower the return it will generate. So that is the consequence of a lower return if you choose to invest ethics in a passive way, in a less inactive way. Trading ethics, on the other hand, will yield typically a higher return. Of course, that comes with risk. Again, that is the consequence. And trading ethics, in our opinion, requires a systematic approach, and that allows you and me as traders to conduct our businesses to generate consistent returns or results. It is also our belief that the robot and expert advisors are destined to fail in the long run. They may give you the short-term success. However, in the longer run, I have not heard or am personally experiencing any success stories about traders using expert advisors. There are so many such kinds of programs available in internet at a price of $47, $49 or some hundreds of dollars. Having said that, are they successful? Will they be able to give the permanent success returns to the traders? I have not heard of any of that stories. Reason is this, and that is my answer to some of my prospective clients. If a software engineer is able to write the algorithm to generate the buy and sell signals of a particular currency pair. The software engineer actually will rely on the historical information to write the program. And the fact is that if the software engineer does not know the future or what's going to happen in the forex market, how would he be able to write a program that can cater to the ever-changing market condition? So I have heard story that some people pay 10,000 US dollars to get the expert advisors and the education, and guess what? The program generated superb results from a back testing perspective. But when the person uses the program for forward testing, in other words, putting real money to trade the live market, it somehow the result is not the same as the back testing result. So now you know the story. I don't believe expert advisors in that sense. So let's talk about some myths about the forex trading. So there are a couple which I want to address them one by one. The first myth I heard is about the fact that forex market is too big to be manipulated. How many of you have heard of the story that the forex market is the largest financial market in the world? It is even larger than the stock market. And the reason why people love to trade forex is that it is too big and no one is able to manipulate the market. The truth is, there are these guys called the big banks and fund managers, and they are able to move the forex market on an intraday basis. They have the deep pocket sufficient to move the forex pairs or crosses on an intraday basis, with the sole purpose of killing. I use the word killing and I mean it, to kill as many retail traders as possible on a single trading day. It is something that in our program we don't believe. Intraday trading is always a winning proposition. We don't believe that. Our belief is unless you know the big banks and the fund managers way of trading forex market on the intraday, don't ever dream of trading intraday using our retail traders method. Okay, there are so many retail traders method available in the internet. For example, we have got moving average crossover, which is a very common technical entry and exit method. There are people who use MACD, stochastic, and they're using several indicators to line up nicely to put a trade in and to exit the trade. And this is what I call the retail traders method, because the retail traders know that. How many of you actually are aware that the banks, the fund managers also know this kind of methodologies? Okay, so if they know the retail traders are trading this way, and I mean that way, and the objective is to kill as many retail traders as possible, do you think they will do something about the forex pairs and crosses such that in the end these retail traders will lose money on an intraday basis? Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm not a proponent of trading forex on an intraday basis unless you know exactly how the banks and the fund managers are trading on an intraday basis. You don't know their indicators. They know our indicators. So is it fair? Obviously, it is not. But that is the reality of the forex market. Forex market is also a 24/5 market because Saturday and Sunday are closed. And that's why we call it 24x5 market. And one can choose to trade at any time, any day. The truth is that Monday and Friday are typically not the best trading days. There are reasons why. The better trading days in a week would be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The reason is that if these are the 3 days which are the better days to trade forex, it is not a 24/5 market in practice or in reality. While in theory it is 24/5, and yet you have only 3 trading days a week. if you want to do intraday trading. Okay, I know that someone would like to trade on news. For example, every first Friday of the month in the US is the unemployment data. I know that my competitors like to teach the students how to trade intraday on this non-farm payroll and unemployment announcement. Well, I respect what they are doing. My reality check tells me that it is not a winning proposition because you don't really know how exactly the pair or the cross will move as a result of the announcement of the unemployment data. Okay, you can develop or design different ways to do it. Question is, are these consistent? Have they been producing consistent results? So it's up to you to decide. The other myth I heard was the only way to make money in trading Forex is to trade intraday. How many of you have heard of this before? You have heard a lot of stories that a person make hundreds of pips in a trading day. Okay, yes, this is called fast money. And the truth is that position and swing trading can be equally profitable. And the key to success is proper position sizing and money management. If you trade forex market on an intraday basis, you may have to put in 20 trades, 30 trades, 40 trades in order to make money. And do not forget the fact that not all trades are winning trades. You aren't able to generate 100% winning ratio in any form of trading. So you're bound to have some losing trades. How are you going to cope with that? Okay, so a less stressful way of trading forex market would be looking at a longer term position sizing, position trading or swing trading methodology. And I believe this thing called trading less and is would mean that getting less risk exposure to the market. And I repeat, trading less often means getting less risk exposure to the market. The, the thing is that if your idea is to generate 50 pips a week, you can choose to trade 10 times, 10 winning trades on an intraday basis to generate 5 pips per trade. Okay, you may have to trade more than 10 times, of course, unless you tell me your winning ratio is 100%. Having said that, how about the fact that you look for only 1 or 2 trades a week and the objective is 100 pips, objective is 50 pips. You just need to trade once or twice a week. You still be able to make the or hit the profit target. Okay, so I'm not here telling you intraday is the only way to make money in the forex market. Position and swing trading can be equally profitable. Now, the other story I heard was position trading and swing trading are doomed to fail because they make money too slow. Well, what do you mean by too slow or too fast? It is a judgment call. For me, the key point is not really. It depends on how you set your goals in this business. How many pips do you plan to make in a week, a quarter, or even a year? How many of you are aware that to generate 50 pips a week can be very profitable to you and your trading account? And you just need 50 pips. And why do I keep saying pips and not the actual amount that you invest or you trade in the market? It is because pips to someone, if the account size is low, is small, it could mean $5. To some people who are trading a bigger sized account, 50 pips could be $5,000, $50,000. So it depends on your weekly target, it depends on your quarterly and yearly target. You can set your goals, and I can tell you a lot of successful traders are merely looking for 50 pips or 100 pips a week, and they are very profitable. Okay, I hope that this is a reality check for some of you. Another myth I heard was about fundamental analysis, and it says that fundamental analysis doesn't work, and the only way to trade forex is to use technical analysis. Okay, so here is a debate between fundamental and technical analysis. The truth is, FX trading is about trading interest rate expectation. How many of you know what I'm talking about? What? FX trading is trading on interest rate expectation? Yes. You come to my course, you will know why. Pure reliance, in my opinion, on technical analysis can be disastrous if one does not know what the central banks are thinking about. Okay? How many of you are aware that, for example, the Bank of Japan is very concerned with the ever appreciation of Japanese yen, and they are constantly looking for ways to depreciate yen so as to boost the export, which is essential to build or to strengthen the Japanese economy. This is the mindset of Bank of Japan. And from a technical analysis perspective, if you are looking for yen crosses that are going down, and suggesting that yen is appreciating, okay? And if you continue shorting the yen crosses, you may lose money in the end when Bank of Japan decided to do this thing called intervention, and it happened back in 2011. Okay, there were times that the Bank of Japan actually did this thing called intervention, and that actually caused some people to lose money in the forex market because they only trade based on technical analysis. So in my opinion, fundamental analysis is key to the success of this business. Another myth is about this thing called you don't need to have a stop loss as you are in front of the screen to watch the FX market all the time. And I guess that this statement was made from an intraday trader's perspective because their thinking is as long as I stick to the screen, I watch the market, I don't need to put a stop loss. The truth is that one must have a stop loss in every trade he or she has made. Let me show you let me show you let me show you in this example that is a euro Swiss franc cross back in September 2011. Okay, allow me to go to my metaphor traders platform, and I would like to show you this particular scenario. So in front of you it is a trading platform, and let me make the chart as clean as possible, and I'm doing this on a D1 daily chart format. I would like to bring you back to the September 2011. And guys, please pay attention to this particular daily bar. And I'm talking about this daily bar. That is the day when the Swiss National Bank decided to peg Swiss franc against euro dollar at 1.2. I'm sure some of you have heard of this important date before. That is the day when this cross has was pushed up by 1,000 pips. And I have people who didn't put the stop loss, thinking that the cross has been going down, okay, in the previous price action. And what happened is that they are shorting the cross. In the end, for some reason, the Swiss National Bank decided to step up and do this thing called minimum floor pegging. A lot of people I know actually have their account wiped out in seconds. So you must put a stop loss in your trades, in every trade that you make, or else you could easily have your account wiped out without knowing why. Okay, so let me go back to my PowerPoint presentation. So these are some of the myths that I discussed in the forex market. So what exactly in our approach in trading the forex market? Our approach is governed by this mantra. This mantra is known as the fundamentally driven and technically executed methodology. Okay, fundamentally driven and technically executed methodology. So everyone repeat after me: fundamentally driven, technically executed methodology. Thank you. So what is this methodology about? Okay, this methodology is about two aspects. So let's talk about the fundamentally driven aspect. We will review the news as the catalyst to any possible change in our interest rate outlook. How many of you actually read news in terms of newspaper, listening to radios, or watching TV, or even internet. And you have so much information you gather every day, and how are you going to decode the news that you have received from various media with a view to understanding how they would impact on the interest rate outlook? So you will still do the way you are doing things, like reading newspaper every day, but whatever pieces of news that you read, you have to ask the question, how would it affect the interest rate outlook of a particular country? And you just need to ask this particular question as and when you read a piece of news. So that is how you gather the fundamental information. Okay, so you review the news of a week, mean all sorts of catalysts, and you decide that, okay, based on what I've read this week, I decided that, well, which is the strongest currency to buy and which is the weakest currency to sell, based on all the information I gather. And then once we have this idea, strongest currency to buy, for example, I'm just giving a hypothetical example, the strongest currency to buy this week is US dollars. Okay, for whatever reasons or news that you've gathered, strongest currency to buy is US dollars. The weakest currency to sell, for example, is actually Euro dollar. Okay, so you see that I have identified US dollars to buy and Euro dollar to sell. And since I know that there is this pair called Euro dollar, it means that I'm going to sell Euro dollar based on fundamentals. Did I actually look at the chart of Euro dollar to decide whether I should buy or sell Euro dollar? Okay, the answer is no. I can decide what to do on a particular currency pair or cross without looking at the charts. I've shown my students consistently in my level 1 and level 2 classes. This is the way I do my trading. And it means that you all have the ability to trade the majors and the crosses. So what are majors? What are crosses? Okay, let me go back to my metaphor traders platform and I show you what I mean. You can see that I've got in front of me some very popular majors. Majors are actually paired with US dollars as either the numerator or denominator. For example, we have got Euro dollar, Pound dollar, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, US dollars and CAD, which is US dollars and Canadian dollars, and US dollars and Japanese yen. So these are what we call the majors. Okay, and I know that some programs of my competitors are teaching their students to trade only certain majors. How many of you are aware that you can actually trade the crosses? When I say cross, I mean that this is a particular currency quote where US dollar is not either on the numerator or denominator. So in front of you, I have examples like Euro Aussie, Euro CAD, Euro Pound, Euro Kiwi. I also have things like Aussie CAD, which is Australian and Canadian dollars, and Aussie Kiwi, Australian dollars and New Zealand dollars. Okay, so I do have this ability to trade crosses because after all, my governing decision is, okay, what is the strongest currency to buy and what is the strongest currency to sell. So let's say if the strongest currency to buy is Aussie and the weakest currency to sell is pound, and I know that there is a particular cross called pound Aussie, so I'm going to place a sell or short sell order on pound Aussie. Okay, so this is to allow us to have the ability to trade not just the majors, but also crosses. So you have a lot of things to choose, not just a few pairs. So in terms of technically executed, so what do we do? Let's say we have decided that, okay, based on our fundamental review, we are going to buy dollars, US dollars I mean, and sell euro. We are going to sell euro dollar. So we go straight to the chart of euro dollar and decide what is our entry price, what is our stop loss, and what is our profit target, or what are our profit targets in case we have 2 or 3 profit targets. Okay, The methodology behind is pretty straightforward. We don't use technical indicators. In our program, we don't talk about MACD, stochastics, RSI, parabolic SAR, moving averages, simple or exponential. We don't talk about ADX. We don't talk about any technical indicators. Just imagine if you started off with downloading a Metaphor Traders platform. This is what you see. Okay, let me remove this chart. This is what you exactly see when you first loaded your Metaphor Traders platform. You've got 4 charts here, and they all filled with technical indicators. Too technical to see, and you don't know what they are. You don't know how to trade, and you ask yourself, gee, what am I going to do with the Forex market if that's the case? Rest assured that in our own trading program, when I say price action method, I simply means that this is the chart in front of you. And I'm going to teach you how to look at this chart and decide what is your entry price, where do you place your stop loss, and where do you place your profit target. It is very easy, if you like. And the fact is that a lot of our students found it very amazing that they can trade without putting any indicators. You see how clean the chart is, and therefore it makes our lives a lot easier. Okay? So unlike other courses which teach you, you need to have all these technical indicators to line up nicely before you place the trade, we don't do that in our program. Price action method is the key. After all, you notice that since the big banks and the fund managers know our technical indicators, why should we use our own technical indicators and give them the unfair advantage? So let's all look at the price chart to determine our entry and exit. So giving us ourselves at least a fairer chance to be successful in the Forex market. And in the Empower Rangers Forex, we believe our approach works because of the following reason. Number one, you can do the fundamental review once a week. You don't need to do every day. Assuming you read newspaper only once a week, like a weekend edition, or you've the advent of internet, you can actually Google the news from the internet. You just need to do the fundamental review once a week. Of course, you have the choice. You can do the fundamental review every day if you have time. I mean, especially for novice traders who are new to this business, you may wish to do this review once a day. And as and when you become more and more experienced and competent, you can do it once a week. So it's up to you. Okay, once you place your orders with your brokers based on your fundamentally driven and technically executed idea, you can simply walk away from the computer, as the trade will be managed by your predetermined technical exits. Okay, I don't like to look at the terminal all the time, because once the trade is placed, I can only hope, pray, or wish it to be profitable. There's actually nothing I can do. My control has been given to the market. The market will decide my fate. But I do have my technical exits to help me to decide how much money I can make or how much will I lose if I'm wrong. That is a more important question. Okay? So I'm not a proponent of watching the market or watching the computer all the time, because it doesn't help us to make more money or lose less money anyway. You can also continue your full-time jobs. I know that a lot of my students are having their 9 to 5 jobs, and it's very impossible for them to trade intraday basis. Okay? Because you either have a full-time job or you trade intraday. You cannot have both, or else the story I heard was you can lose both your full-time jobs as well as money in your Forex account. Or if you have other passion in your life, you can place the trade and let go, let the broker help you to exit the trade based on your predetermined trading plan, and you can pursue your other passion. Okay, and the final reason to me is the most important reason why our approach works so well. How many of you want to sleep well? Sleep is very important. I don't know about you, especially for us, for me, I like to sleep well. So the point that I'm making here is, if you can sleep well, this perhaps is the approach that will be helpful, that will be useful to you, because the approach allows you to sleep well. Okay? So to review our level 1 agenda, I mean the 4 weeks are spread or segregated in this way. Week number 1 is the warm-up. It's always the warm-up. So I will introduce the basic terminology and also some facts and information about Forex trading and the Forex market. And we'll talk about how to set up our charts using the Metaphor Traders platform, a demo account, okay, to help you to get started. So you'll start watching the charts after week 1. And in week 2, we come back to look at how do we apply the fundamentals. How do we ask the question, how would this piece of news affect my interest rate outlook? And that is what we call the fundamentals in Forex trading. I'm going to give you the approach. I'm going to give you my interest rate outlook at the prevailing point in time. Okay, that allows you to get started with your fundamental review. And week number 3 is to talk about, once we have a fundamental picture and we decide which currency to buy, which currency to sell, we go straight to the chart and look at how we determine the entry price, the stop loss, and the profit target. And by the way, you notice that I always talk about entry price, and the next thing is stop loss. This is my habit. The habit is not about putting entry price and our profit target, because professional traders ask this question first. What if I am wrong? What will be my risk? So everybody repeat after me. What if I am wrong? What will be my risk? So I always tell my students to put the entry price first. Okay, you have to put the entry price first. That is a given. And then the next thing you need to do is to decide where you place your stop loss. That helps you to determine, what if I'm wrong? What will be my risk? And only then you can decide your profit target or profit targets. And week number 4, we'll come back to this fundamental core components of a Forex trading business, which is about how to apply our money management rule. Okay, and I will introduce certain ways of looking at money management. Okay, and this is very important component in a successful Forex trading business, if you like. So all in all, you can see that these 4 weeks, while it looks simple, there are lots of things to be covered. Okay, and why must you sign up for our level 1 class? If I were to ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen, okay, our competitors, I know I'm in this business for the last 6-7 years. I know what my competitors are teaching. Okay, and they, I'm aware that these are competitors of mine offer the answers to the question, is Forex trading for me, by charging the students thousands of dollars. As you have heard from the very very beginning of this presentation, I've heard that students were charged 10,000 Singapore dollars for a 2-day course just to find out whether Forex trading is for him or her. In the US, $5,000, $6,000 US just to get the answer to this question. Okay, and a lot of these guys actually run their business by giving a free preview, a free introductory seminar, 2 hours, 3 hours, to tell you some very scratching the surface kind of information, and for you to sign up their more expensive courses. A lot of people are actually running the business model as such. In our Empowered Rangers model, we don't subscribe to this view. While this is a preview, so-called a preview presentation, but when you come to the actual course, which is low price as compared to my other competitors are offering, there's no free preview or introductory seminar elements in my level 1 course. It is a 4 weeks of solid teaching of Forex essentials. When I first started this level 1 initiative, I planned to do 4 hours in total. But as you know, my 100% commitment to the students, some of you are aware of that. Okay, the total contact hours in the recent level 1 course, 4 weeks altogether, is almost 8 hours. Okay, so 8 hours, 2 hours per week for 4 weeks of solid teaching with no free preview or introductory seminar discussion is what I truly believe. And our level 1 price is in a irresistible offer because we don't charge you tens of thousands, we don't charge you thousands of dollars, we are just merely charging a couple of $100 for you to understand in 8 hours time whether this trading business is for you, and make it so affordable for you to give yourself a chance to answer this question yourself. So that is what I mean by irresistible offer. Okay, I'm also aware that brokers offer Forex education free of charge. I have read articles before, and some of these authors said that why should you pay for courses, pay for other Forex courses when the brokers give you the free education? Yes, I agree that they give you free education, and I appreciate that they give you free education. The truth is that they give you overloaded information because their job is to make sure that you trade with them and they are able to earn their spread as their living from you. If you don't trade, they don't earn. So the broker's job is to really get you trade so that they will earn a living by looking at the bid ask spread. You can also take your sweet time to read such free information, and you can ask your brokers any questions. How many of you know what I'm talking about? When you subscribe to free newsletters, free information, you really take your sweet time. You say, oh, never mind, I will do it the next day. I may do it next week. I may even do it when I am free. How many of you know what I'm talking about? The truth is that if you don't have the financial commitment, you will just delay this pain. You will just delay what you want to do. I can tell you that this is our human pattern. The truth is that unless you have this financial commitment, you will just take your sweet time to do things that you want to do. And interestingly, your brokers will also take the time to answer questions, or the question is not answered in the way you want to hear because you are your broker's customers. They have to treat you nicely. They won't give you direct feedback. They may give you things that you want to hear because you are the customers of the brokers. Here in level 1, however, we are not your broker. We'll give you honest feedback directly, and you must be prepared to receive our feedback in order to grow. And I'm also aware that a lot of brokers tend to provide a lot of technical analysis comments, and this to me is overdone. You don't need to be expert in technical analysis to trade Forex successfully. So why must you sign up for our level 1 class? Well, I believe my approach works. Let me show you 2 examples that just happened a week ago. This was a trade that we discussed. Okay, first of all, this is a done deal. This is a done deal, and we are now giving you hypothetical examples only. Do not treat it as an investment advice. This was a successful case study that we discussed in our 5th of November Level 2 online coaching class. And the thing is that we don't apply any technical indicators at all, as you can see on this chart. We just look at the trade by understanding the fundamentals. We decided to short Euro and buy Kiwi. And therefore, we went to this cross called Euro Kiwi and do a sell. And we decide the EP entry price, the stop loss, and also the profit target. So yes, within a day, we make 100 pips or 1.5% in this trade. Although we went through the US presidential election volatility time, we still make the 100 pip in 2 days. We also discussed another case study on euro dollar, and the fact is that based on fundamentals, we decided to sell euro and buy US dollars. So from a US dollar pair perspective, we are selling this pair. So again, using very simple, fundamentally driven, technically executed methodology, we have made 100 pips in a week. Okay, 100 pips in a week. So I've got two ideas here, and both yielded 100 pips in a week. And you can see that my charts have no technical indicators whatsoever. Okay, so let me show you some of my students' comments as a result of them completing level 1. Okay, so one student said, thanks a lot for sharing your rich knowledge and experience on forex trading with us. It has been an eye-opener to me.